The example that you set. This is one that, well, if I'm brutally honest with myself, plagues a large proportion of my thoughts. A large proportion of, well, what I do, how I show up, how I dictate my life. And I'm not claiming to ever be perfect. Not even by a long stretch. But it's one of those things that preoccupies my mind. And especially when it comes to my children. It's the example that I set for them. It's the example that I show up as for them. It's who I am as a man, and what they take from that, and what they learn and ingrain in themselves. My children are 3 and 4 years old. And it comes down to, well, what lessons and subconscious programming are they picking up from dad? Like, what am I imparting on them by who I am as a man? Not what I say, not what I tell them to do, but what I show them and what I deliver. These are the things that I think matter more than anything. I've spoken many times before that I think one of the perilous moments as a father is one that you cannot control when it'll occur, but you can control what happens at that moment. And that is that at some point they're going to figure you out. They're going to figure out who you are as a man. Because if you are any half reasonable father and you're in their life, you are their hero. You know, it comes back to that saying, you are your daughter's first love and your son's first hero. They idolize you. They want to be like dad. Everything you do is amazing. And at some point, it might be as a teenager, it might be as an adult, but at some point, they will figure out who you are as a man. And in that moment, I don't know about you, but I pray to God that I am everything that they have imagined that I am. That I have lived up to the hype. That I am, well, the man that they think I am. Because there is nothing more heartbreaking as a child than realizing that maybe your father isn't actually that good a man. Maybe he tried, maybe he did an alright job, but he is not everything that you envisioned him to be. And that doesn't mean you love him any less, but the day you work out who your father is as a man is a big day, and I hope that I will live up to that. But that means that I have to think about the actions that I take. Big, small, and otherwise, seen or unseen, whether I think they know or not. I have to be the man that they need me to be, that they hope I am, every single day of the week. I have to be the guy and show up, not just when they're watching, but in all moments, because who you truly are seeps through. You can't put on a face, you can't put on a mask, it's who you actually are. And you have to make that choice. And people say, well, then it's not who you truly are. Well, yes, it is, because you are a result of your thoughts, your habits, and your choices. So if you keep making the choice to be that man, if you keep showing up as that man, if you keep going, no, I refuse to be the man who slacks off, who doesn't follow through, who doesn't keep his word, then you become, by nature, that man who does the work. By nature, you become the guy who continues to show up, who continues to do the work, who continues to be a man of his word. These are the choices that we make. Who you are behind closed doors matters way more than who you are in front of the lights. That's what matters. But it means, quite often, doing shit that you don't want to do because you said you would, or it's the right thing to do, or you're just keeping your word. And I had that today. So I'm revamping my gym. And my kids have been wanting to come hanging out. My wife had plans with friends, and so she went out for the day. So they came to work. So I spent 3 hours of my day with my kids watching me do boring, menial shit. I painted and I worked on stuff and I constructed stuff and I revamped my gym and I moved things around and, making sure that I am providing the best quality service. And they kept asking me, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And these are the little telltale moments of, how you start imparting those things. And I was like, because how we show up matters. How we do anything is how we do everything. We need to present the best possible service and impression and deliver on being the best we can be for my clients. They pay me a large amount of money and they need to get not only the best possible service that I can deliver, which I always do, but also the best environment, the best product, the best I can deliver. And sometimes that's simple things and it's just how it makes people feel. Fresh coat of paint, move things around, new equipment, those kinds of things. It gives the good impression, but it's about doing that. But I had to do that work. And so they watched me do it. Now, after I was very impressed with them, after about 3 hours, understandably, they're 3 and 4, they were getting ratty as shit. And I was getting frustrated. And I will be honest, and I yelled at them. Because the one rule was don't fucking touch the wet paint. And what happens when you tell a child not to do the one thing? What do? They do the one thing that you tell them not to do. It's just natural, and I should have known better. But I lost my shit. And I yelled at them. And then I had to take a breath. And I had to apologize. And we spoke about the importance of not taking out our frustration on other people. Of not letting our frustration bleed into yelling or tantrums or things like this. We don't take it out on other people when we get frustrated. That's our problem, not their problem. And I apologized to them for that. And we had a discussion. And my daughter's like, well, I still yell. And I'm like, that's fine, you're learning. Clearly, Daddy's still learning. We're not perfect, we make mistakes. But we own our mistakes. And we move the fuck on. Obviously, I didn't use that language, and to be fair, I should probably stop using it as much in here as well. But I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But I owned it. And so we moved on. But I wasn't finished. So I took them out for the day. They'd have been excellent. They deserved it. So I took them down, gave them special treats for helping Daddy with his work and being really patient with that. On the way back home, they were like, well, when can your clients come back? Because you didn't finish. And I was like, well, I'll have to go back tonight. And that's where I'm on my way to right this second. This is where I'm going now. And they were like, oh, but you won't be at home. And I was like, no, but Mum will. Mum will be there and you haven't seen Mum all day and you'll be in bed asleep anyway. And they're like, well, what about you? And I was like, the job's not done. And that's as simple as it gets. The job wasn't done. They were done. They'd had enough. And I had to be a responsible parent in that situation. I had to choose what was right for them. They had already gone above and beyond and given me 3 hours of work in there. But now it's time to go finish the work. It's how you do anything is how you do everything. And it applies to this. Look, I could kick it off till tomorrow. But Sunday is family day. And that's a really sacred thing in my house. Sunday is family day. I work 6 days a week. But Sunday, during the day, when my children are awake, I am present. The entirety of that day. I am part of that for the entire of that day. So that's what they're going to get. So yeah, I could do it and I could skip family day. But this is about what you prioritize. This is about setting that example. That they are my most important thing in this world. My wife and my children. So when I have the option, that's what's going to happen. So now I'm going back and I'm probably going to spend another 3 hours tonight finishing this off. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. And it matters that I finish it. But they also need to know that I am that man. And I wouldn't have brought it up, and nothing would have been said if they hadn't been asked. But who I am behind closed doors, who I am when they're asleep, matters. Do I keep my word? Do I continue to do the work? Do I continue to show up as I said I would? Or do I pass it off when I'm tired? Because I am tired. Today, for whatever reason, was a long day. By the end of it, I was knackered. And maybe it's just because I'm not used to painting. I'm not used to doing shit like that. But mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm done. If I'm being truly honest. There is nothing I would like to do more than right now hit up Coles, get some Ben & Jerry's, pick myself up a nice bottle of wine, maybe some cheese and chips, and kick back. And I'd love to watch, yesterday's NBA game. I know what happened, but still, I'd love to watch it. But I gave my word that I was going to finish this work. I gave my word that tomorrow was family day, and I promised I would spend all day with them, like I do every week. So that's what I'm doing. So I go through and I do this now. And look, I know there are many fathers who do this, and yet I also know many fathers who don't prioritize this, who don't prioritize keeping their word. We have a rule. If we say something, if we make a promise, we must not break it. It's really important, and it's really that simple. If we say something to our kids, it is happening. End of story. Because your word is sacred. Your word is your bond. And that's what we talk about with demanding greatness. And a lot of times, and I get it, people don't understand the correlation between them and why I harp on about every single day. No days off, no misses. That you demand greatness every day. And yeah, you'll get into phenomenal shape. Yeah, you'll come out looking like a different man. But it's about who you are inside that I'm concerned about. It's about who you become on the journey that I'm talking about. Because your word needs to become sacred. And I can promise you, if you're unhappy with the man in the mirror, if you're disappointed where you are in life, if you aren't happy with any of that, I can promise you that it's because you don't keep your word. It's that simple. If you say you're going to get into shape, get into shape. I talked about it the other day. The basics are really, really simple. The basics, most of it's just fucking starting. Is just beginning and doing the work. The basics is intensity, effort, and consistency. That'll get you 90% of the way. That'll get you a hell of a long way into it. The rest we can figure out later. But that's a good start. That's a real good start. Let's start there. But I can guarantee you, if you aren't happy with where you are in life, it comes down to a combination of intensity, consistency, and keeping your word. Those three things. If you pick that up somewhere and you give it everything you have for a long enough period of time with a half decent plan, because have to put that out there, you will get the results that you want. You will change your life. Literally, unquestionably, you will change your life. That is what is required. That you actually just show up and give intensity, consistency, and keep your word. I mapped out the other day the exact blueprint. Then if you want to do it, I promise you, you do that, it'll fucking change your life. But there is no higher honor, no greater importance, nothing you can do more that I think will impact your life, your kids' lives, and how the world just responds to you than keeping your word. And we start with fitness because it is a billboard. You become a walking billboard of doing exactly that, keeping your word. And that matters. My God, does that matter? And I don't think I can make it any simpler. It's not going to be easy. It's going to require effort. It's going to require consistency. It's going to require you keeping your word on days where you don't want to. But it'll change your life. As I said, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go do this. I have zero desire to, on a freezing winter night, be in my gym, on my knees, painting, organizing, getting things set up. I don't want to do that. But that is what is required. That is what is required for me to continue being a man of my word. To keep building credibility and a legacy of being the man that my children think I am. So that when that fateful day comes, when they work out who I am, that I can be the man that they think I am. That Dad, the man, the myth, the legend, can live up to the hype. I don't know if I will, but God, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to give it everything I have. I'm going to continue to show up over and over and over again to make sure my kids are proud of me. To make sure my kids have the best standing in life. That they learn the lessons that I didn't have, that I had to learn as an adult. That's what this is about. Everything I do is about that. Is about them. About giving them the leg up that I wish I'd had. I don't resent that I had to learn it through the school of hard knocks, that I had to go through it, that I had to make mistakes, that I had to overcome them. But I'd rather, put them on my shoulders. What is it? On the shoulders of giants. If they start there, imagine what they could achieve. Especially in today's world. Especially in today's world, where everybody is soft as all hell. Where the bar is on the floor. They're just having some type of effort, showing up with inconsistency and effort. A bit of a competitive nature puts you miles ahead of anyone else. That's what I want to deliver to my children. That's what I want to give them. And I don't think I can give them a greater gift than those things. That it's just been ingrained in them. And that is who we are. That's who we are as Farleys, as a family. And that is what we do. I don't think there is anything more in this world that could be more important than that right there. So that's what I want to give them. So if you want to learn how to be a man of your word, if you want to learn how to, build that discipline, that grit, that muscle, that means no matter what, you show the fuck up and you do what you said. And how you do anything is how you do everything. And at the same point, get rid of that dad bod. Start being proud of that man in the mirror and see true results. Click the link in my bio. Let's get into demanding greatness and let's change your life. Because not only do you deserve it and you need it, but your children deserve it as well. They deserve the best version of you. And it's time to become a man of your word. So that on that fateful day, they go, wow, Dad is everything I thought he was and more. So if you're ready for that, click the link and I'll see you there.